Hey guys, welcome to this episode on the Passionate Few channel. It's your host, Omar here, and today I'm going to be going over a quick little video answering the question of how do I invest in my personal brand, and what is personal branding investing 101, right? Some of the things to look out for, some of the pitfalls, a lot of not cool things out there. There's also a lot of phenomenal things that work well, and if there's anything we know is that facts tell and stories sell. So when building a brand, you want to make sure you're selling, and I promise you if you keep these tips in mind in this 101 video, you'll have no problem growing your brand and business in no time. Enjoy.
Representing the Passionate Few podcast, Omar, the podcast rockstar, Elton.
Omar, it's Tony Robbins. Listen, obvious you're doing good for others as well, brother.
So when it comes to personal branding, investing 101, some of the things I think are important to keep in mind are, number one, the question of what is your outcome, okay? What is your outcome, right? One thing I always like to tell a lot of the clients that we help with building their personal brand is you want to think about goals kind of like a bullseye, right? And you can't hit a bullseye you can't see. And so if you got to have a target, because if you don't have a target, you don't know what you're aiming for. And so every attempt at building your brand, shooting content, getting interviewed, whatever it is, it's kind of like a dart, right? So we can give you a vehicle, but if there's no goal, if there's no outcome that's clear in your mind, it's going to be hard to know whether you should invest, if at all, in building your personal brand to grow your business, right? Now, the second thing to keep in mind when thinking about building your personal brand is what it's going to cost, right? Right? And so if you're sitting there thinking, okay, Omar, like this sounds cool and all that, and I want to build my personal brand, but maybe you don't know how to, or maybe you're stuck, or maybe you're trying to do it on your own and you realize Facebook and Instagram and social media platforms kind of have limited utility unless you go viral, right? And so, of course, we all want to go viral, right? But the reality is you can't sustain a business depending on virality, right? You want to build something steady. And so this is where personal branding comes into play. So if you're going to evaluate if you should do it, you got to obviously look at the money, right? You got to fund it. What do you want to do? And so once you know your outcome and once you know whether or not you're like, okay, maybe I want to invest in my personal brand, but I don't know how much to or where it would be worthwhile to, those are the things to keep in mind. So just to zoom in super quick, one thing I would say is when trying to figure out what is your outcome, you got to ask yourself two things, okay? What is the outcome for your brand, right? And what is the outcome for your business, right? Because top of mind awareness is nice with building your brand, but you also want to make sure that you're building your business. Here's the caveat though, both short term, okay, and long term, okay? ROI has many forms. ROI, let me say that again. ROI has many forms. However, you got to keep in mind short term and long term. And as we all know, long term ROIs always pay the most over time. Okay, so once you have that in mind, you want to go, okay, next question, what is going to cost me? So one thing I like to ask people is say, hey, over the next 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years, right? And you could get into 5 years. All right, guys, we're back. Sorry about the technical difficulties. As I was saying, you want to evaluate what it's going to cost, right? And that cost could be over 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. And even if you want to think about it over the next 5 to 10 years, right? What would that look like in terms of investment, right? Would you probably invest somewhere around, maybe 5,000, maybe 1,000, right? Or do you see yourself over time, or maybe in year one, investing 20,000, 30,000, right? And so I want to just encourage you as you're thinking about building your personal brand, thinking not just what it's going to cost you short term, but also over the long haul. That way you can appropriate your expectations when it comes to building your personal brand. So one thing I like to think about, and I always encourage people to think about, is say, okay, cool. If I'm going to spend, let's say the next, year, and I want to spend up to, $2,000 a month in building my personal brand, or $3,000 a month, or $1,000 a month, right? That ranges from $12,000 to $24,000 to $36,000, right? Now, everybody has a different price point depending on their level of commitment, maybe a little bit lower depending on where they're at, maybe even higher than that. I know we work with most of our clients are significantly higher than that, right? Some people invest hundreds of thousands of dollars in their brand because they realize, kind of like real estate, that long-term ROI is going to be important to keep in mind when building a brand, especially online. So I digress. If you're going to spend 5, 10, 20K, then the question you want to ask yourself is, how can I get the highest ROI? Okay? How can I take the highest ROI actions possible so that I can maximize the upside, right? You want to maximize upside. And the way we do that is we evaluate in two parts. What is the purpose of brand, right? What is the purpose of brand? The purpose of brand, arguably, everybody's going to have their own opinion, is to make sales easier. Simultaneously, it's to build a raving fan base, right? One thing I always recommend people do is realize that you want to sell to fans, not just customers. When you think of some of the most popular things on the planet, right, some of the biggest brands, maybe the device you're watching this on, chances are you bought that product because of the brand, right? Chances are you probably bought that same brand last time you got a phone, and maybe you're even committed to buy it next time, right? That's the power of brand. We've all seen it, we all know it. And so if you can make sales easier by building your brand, by growing awareness for your product, your service, your business, whatever it is you have to offer to the world, and grow your raving fan base at the same time, that way you'll create some longevity for yourself and leverage. That's brand, okay? So the question then we got to connect here is, how do we maximize that brand ROI, the upside, right? How do we do that? And the way you do that is you go, okay, what are the factors I can control? I guess I couldn't control that falling down. But the factor I can control is the fact that I go, okay, I'm going to invest time, I'm going to invest money, and I'm going to invest energy. Time, money, and energy. And so if you're going to invest in those, then those things are also going to be the forms with which you could ROI. So you might ROI in terms of in the future building a brand because it'll give you more time. Or you could ROI because it'll give you more money. Or you could ROI because it'll give you more energy. What do I mean by that? Let me zoom in. Let's say, for example, you invest into building your personal brand, right? You're like, okay, I want to, I'm not 100% sure what I want to do, but I kind of have an idea and I want to partner with people to help. That's some of the places people like myself and our team work with, right? We help clients just like you who maybe are in this position where they want to build their personal brand. They know they want to take it seriously, but they kind of don't know where to start or how to grow it or how to get momentum going with it. So again, remember, you could ROI when you build a personal brand by creating more time, because it'll take you less time to get sales, less time to make sales, because people are a lot more drawn to you, right? Think of Tesla. I used to work at Tesla. Think of Apple. A lot of their reps are not on commission. Why? Because the brand saves time on the sale. Of course, like I said, money, and last but not least, energy. And what I mean by that is that very often when people invest in their personal brand, there's a certain sort of energy. I know me here, I got the whiteboard, got my suit on, got the lights, right? That gives me a sense of energy. Now, not every one of these videos is going to make me $1 billion. Some make me nothing, and they're purely to give people like you value because you're just as inspired as this stuff as I am to share it. And so the bottom line is that if you're going to invest in your brand, you want to remember that investing in your personal brand is going to require you to evaluate time, money, and energy that you'll get back. Because let's say you only get time. That would be kind of disappointing, right? You probably want some money, probably feeling you'd be in a good energy space because of it. But also, if you just get money one time, I mean, we all know people that were one-hit wonders or had a year or a little good run. If you're going to build a brand, you want to build it over time, right? Remember what I said earlier about short-term ROI versus long-term ROI. And last but not least, energy. Here's what I mean by that. Zooming in on energy, think about people like Tony Robbins, right? Think about some of the most well-known personal brands out there. I bet you that there's a certain amount of excitement or energy to them. I know I've had the pleasure now of interviewing Grant Cardone, 3 times now, and Grant tells me that he invested so much money in building his personal brand, and most of his videos weren't even monetized. And this guy was just getting audiences nonstop like crazy. Why? Because he got energized by doing it. It created accountability, it created momentum, it created enthusiasm. And so, yeah, maybe he didn't invest $100,000 or $50,000 or whatever it was in his personal brand and get $200,000 the next day or the next month or the next year. But what it did do is it laid the trajectory, it laid the foundation, it laid something that energetically built an audience, but simultaneously stimulated him to have fun creating content, which of course he then leveraged for a more amount of money. Now, however you feel about Grant or anybody else doing this, there's no denying that if you want to build influence, if you want to build a brand, you're going to need to do it by something that's sustainable, that puts you in a good energy. So I just want to create this little video today to really challenge you on thinking about ROIing on your personal brand in just the form of money, because that's limiting. It's great, don't get me wrong. We've helped people do that. But if you can create more time, if you can create more excitement, more energy for what you're doing, I mean, think about it. What do the most powerful brands in the world all have? When you ask people, hey, do you like Apple? Do they usually go, yeah? Or do they go, hell yeah, I love Apple, right? They have fans. That's long-term brand equity, right? It's the reason that brands hook people, and like the expression goes, facts tell but stories sell. The more you can energize your audience, because you can't transfer that which you're not experiencing. If you're not experiencing good energy as you're going out there, getting on interviews or building your brand or creating content, if you're not in that energy, you can't transfer it to people. A lot of people create videos that nobody watches. In fact, you may be in that position. I know I have been. But to be honest, if you could ROI in terms of energy, money, time, these are some of the factors over time I'd consider. The last point to keep in mind is when thinking about investing into your personal brand, whether it's on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, a yearly basis, maybe you have a product, a service, something you want to offer to people, I would encourage you to really think about how you're going to allocate it. So for example, let's say 20,000. I know it sounds like a big scary number, but if you do the math in a year, that's about $2,000 a month. If you're somebody serious about building your personal brand, that number shouldn't scare you. If it does, totally okay. But eventually, some of the biggest brand builders are people who constantly make that a priority, right? Because they realize the long-term ROI on it, right? Long-term. So say you have $20,000, and let's say over the course of a year or two, or however much time it is, you would say, okay, from that 20,000, I want to put 5,000 on Instagram or 5,000 on Facebook, or run ads here, here. The one thing I would urge you to really consider above all of that, to be honest with you, is YouTube. YouTube. Because if you're going to invest money, you want to get your maximum ROI. And you get the most time seen on YouTube, because Facebook and Instagram only show videos for 24 to 48 hours, right? Or if you're running an ad campaign, once the funds for the ads die, so does the audience seeing it. But if you create content, I recommend long format, even interview format mostly, but either way, if you're creating your own content, well, now you're going to get more time, more people watching it exponentially. I always say it, but think about YouTube. YouTube populates videos. I mean, think about the last time you used YouTube, right? You've watched a video that was recommended to you this week that was from 10 years ago, 10 months ago, 10 weeks ago, 10 days ago, 10 hours ago, right? I like to say that YouTube's kind of like an equal opportunity employer. It's always promoting videos constantly. So if you're going to create a piece of content, do you want to create it for Facebook or Instagram for 24 to 48 hours? Or do you want something that can promote you for long into the future of time? For a month, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, constantly driving traffic, products, services to an audience that can reach you because they learn about you, creating more money. And obviously, that's going to excite you if you're online. That's going to put you in a good energy of wanting to do more of it. And it's not going to require a lot of energy out of you. I mean, that's why I like to say, if I have a phone and I pick it up and I try to record a video, maybe you've experienced this, where you sit there, you pick up a phone and you go, okay, I'm going to record a quick video of myself. And you try to record it, but for whatever reason, it could take you an hour to maybe film 1 minute or 2 minute video, and then you go crazy over it. I don't like it, didn't look good. Whereas, in my personal opinion, the highest place to ROI would be in long format content on YouTube. And yes, we offer products and services to help people with it. But whether we help you or not, it's just something that we've helped clients with, and I'm inspired to share all of these videos on our channel with you guys of what we're learning. Because it'll work for you wherever you're at, with whoever you work with, if you want to make this happen. You want to ROI on building your personal brand and invest in a worthwhile way, to be honest with you, because you could waste a lot of money, and who the heck wants to do that, right? So anyways, if you're going to invest that amount of money, then the question is, well, how do I maximize capital to be seen by the most people? Now, I personally recommend a brand new offer, a brand new service that we have where we help people just like you. I partner with an agency who is basically helping people like you get booked on up to 10 podcasts. Think of this like a podcast media tour. And what this will help you do is basically take your brand to the next level by showcasing you on platforms, boom, 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 right after another. Because if you can reach more people with your products, your services, your message, and really get seen and leverage the authority of others, leverage the positioning, leverage the awesome brands that others have built, and get in front of those eyeballs, well, you're gonna create a real opportunity for yourself to inherit audiences, inherit fans, inherit raving fans, right? Because who wants to create a video on their phone that takes so much time and stress and energy that maybe barely anybody sees versus, the hour you spend doing that could be spent on an hour doing an interview. Think of the ROI on that. Think of the fact that you have long format content. You get to cut it up and put it into small 1-minute clips. You could repurpose that content. Usually do it in one take. Well, now, you get interviewed on a podcast, somebody else wants to interview on their podcast, right? That's how podcast guests work. A lot of times is once you get on a platform, a lot of other podcasters will start contacting you. And so more breeds more. And so you can get in this nice little momentum. And I really recommend it because, not just we're offering it, but I've seen the model work and I've seen it just be this amazing thing for people who can get their story out there to the world, get their message out there to the world when maybe they've been shy to or unsure of how to get booked on podcasts or how to get booked on any kind of platforms. Now, the next question might be, and I'll wrap up at this point here. Sorry, I get inspired with this stuff. What is that? Invest in interview. What does that mean? Well, basically, if you want to find out more there, you can apply in the description below. We have a little questionnaire, a couple questions. You can fill it out. Our team will get to learn a little bit more about you and see if it's something that would be a good fit. We'll send you more information if you're interested. You can kind of learn more there. But this isn't a sales pitch, honestly. We deliver for clients all the time. But however you do it, here's how I would encourage you to think about doing it. So whenever you're investing into your personal brand, you want things that more people are going to see. Like I said, YouTube is the #1 recommendation. But if you can take this amount of money or any fraction thereof, wherever you're at, and break it up and go, okay, cool. Am I going to pay for, videos? Am I going to pay for photos on Instagram? Am I going to pay for things that maybe don't have audiences or audiences for only limited amounts of times versus things that have longevity into the future, right? So there certainly has to be both. Again, I'm not saying don't use those other platforms. They have massive momentum on them. But if you're going to create something that you want to make last and you want to get your highest ROI, this is a video about personal brand investing. And so if you're going to invest in yourself, these are just some of the strategies I would recommend you think about when coming to invest in yourself. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a little impromptu one I got inspired to share. If you have any questions or any other things you'd like to learn about it, feel free to comment below and we'll get back to you or film it in the next video. All right, that's it. Make sure to smash that subscribe button. Like, share it with a friend if you thought it was valuable. And again, feel free to apply in the description below if you'd like to learn about one of the most powerful ways I'd personally recommend building your personal brand, taking it to the next level, and getting seen on platforms and on interviews that'll make building your personal brand and business easier and much more profitable. All right, peace.
Thank you so much for enjoying this video. And if you found this content valuable, uplifting, and inspiring to take your life and your business to the next level, then I have some exciting news for you. Because the Passionate Few Academy officially launched our brand new on-demand training that you can access absolutely free at www.tpfacademy.com. Right there, you'll learn the #1 way to grow your personal brand or business brand online fast. The same way I've learned from interviewing some of the most successful people on the planet right here on the show who've done exactly that. So again, don't forget to check it out, www.tpfacademy.com. I promise you, you'll be blown away. And also, don't forget, there's 3 ways you can connect with me further. #1, you can text me absolutely free at the number on the screen right now and send me your most pressing life, business, or branding question, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. #2, if you'd like to be interviewed on the show, you can actually apply right now in the description below and apply to share your incredible story, brand, or business right here with an audience of potentially millions of people, the same way we've helped experts, entrepreneurs, and authors just like you. And don't forget, that opportunity comes with the ability to partner with us and help feed 1 million people through our partnership with Feeding America. Again, you can click the link in the description below titled Interview Application to find out more. And last but not least, #3, if you'd like to get consulting from our team and work with you to help you grow your personal brand or business brand, no matter what industry you're in, we can do that by simply filling out the questionnaire in the description below titled Consulting Application. And if our team thinks that you'd be a great fit, who knows, you may just be invited to work with us to help you take your business to the next level. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for enjoying this video. Make sure to smash that subscribe button, turn on post notifications so you never miss an episode. And until next time, live strong, live with passion, and I'll see you in the next inspiring video.